Hello, dear lovely audience. Welcome back to another Kelly Ripa Show New Recap. Everyone, I know y'all have been waiting for this. Thank you guys so much for your patience. Kelly Ripa gives major health update after missing live. The Monday morning sunlight gleamed off the glossy studio floor as the cameras rolled, and the familiar cheerful energy seemed to rush back into the room all at once, almost as if it had been on pause, waiting for its spark. That spark, of course, was Kelly Ripa. She stepped onto the set of Live with Kelly and Mark with her usual bouncy stride, but there was something extra in her smile, something fueled by relief, recovery, and perhaps even a little bit of newfound gratitude. Fans would soon learn that the beloved host had spent the previous week battling a stubborn illness, leaving her husband and co-host Mark Consuelos to hold down the fort solo. It wasn't an unfamiliar situation for the show, but viewers felt her absence. In daytime television, personalities matter as much as stories, and Kelly's presence is a heartbeat. Yet on this particular morning, the hearts in the studio seemed to beat just a little louder. The return of the Queen of Morning TV. Mark was the first to speak when Kelly got settled in her chair, and though his words were teasing, the emotion beneath them was genuine. "Well," he declared in mock triumph, "look who finally decided to grace us with her presence." Kelly laughed at herself, at him, and at how dramatically he pretended to wipe sweat from his brow as if he'd done something heroic. Of course, hosting alone for a week wasn't necessarily heroic, unless you count dealing with an empty seat that usually bursts with commentary, little jabs, over-the-top reactions, and the famous Kelly eye roll. "It's so good to be back," she told the crowd, placing her hand over her heart. "You have no idea." And the studio erupted. The applause wasn't just for her return. It was because she looked healthy, vibrant, and most importantly, like herself. The kind of energy she brings is hard to replace, difficult to replicate, and impossible to do without for long. A battle off camera. Of course, Kelly didn't return to the stage without sharing the story of her absence. She's never been one to hide the human side of life. Illness, exhaustion, embarrassing moments, awkward memories. She somehow makes them funny, comforting, even glamorous in a strange way. "I was so sick," she confessed with comic dramatics. "You would have thought I was auditioning to be the world's most miserable patient." She described herself wrapped in blankets, shuffling through her house like a ghost, feeling both pitiful and irritated at the same time. Mark, she joked, had to endure her angry patient mode, which she insisted was much worse than the illness itself. "I become a baby," she admitted, "but like a baby with opinions and a bad attitude." Her sincerity resonated. There's something universal about realizing just how fragile we are once we lose something we take for granted every day, like waking up without pain, or simply being able to speak on live television without coughing every 10 seconds. Kelly captured that perfectly, turning her misery into a shared human moment. The show without Kelly. During her absence, Live continued with Mark holding the mic, occasionally inviting guest hosts to assist. He carried the show gracefully, using humor to reassure the audience, but it was clear he missed the daily banter with his wife. The pair have a dynamic that sparks like a comedy duo, half flirtation, half competition, with a dash of domestic realness. Without Kelly, the rhythm was different. It wasn't bad, but it wasn't the same. Mark teased her that ratings were fine without her, but Kelly raised an eyebrow. "I'm sure they were," she said slyly. "You probably had a lot more time to talk without me interrupting you." The playful bickering resumed instantly, confirming that the heart of Live hadn't gone anywhere. It had simply been resting. Health, perspective, and a new appreciation. Although Kelly's return was lighthearted, her words held meaning. Illness often forces people to pause, even the ones who seem unstoppable. For someone with a career built on constant presence, missing even a few days is a big deal. "It makes you really appreciate feeling normal," she said, her tone softening. "We walk around every day not even realizing how lucky we are just to feel fine." The audience nodded, many having experienced that same small but profound realization. Good health doesn't announce itself, it just quietly hums in the background. Only when it falters do we suddenly hear how important it was all along. Kelly described how she found herself wishing for ordinary things. The chance to get dressed and leave the house, the ability to talk without feeling exhausted, even just being able to laugh without starting a coughing fit. You don't realize how much you laugh on live until you can't do it without pain, she joked. Mark's secret relief. Mark feigned annoyance at her complaints, but when she spoke about being sick at home, he got a bit sentimental. I'm just glad you're okay, he told her, placing a hand over hers. The warmth in the moment sparked awe sounds from the audience, to which Kelly rolled her eyes dramatically with a smile. It was the exact kind of unscripted charm that makes viewers tune in every day, not perfection, just authenticity. Their playful love story, broadcast for millions, remains one of morning TV's greatest ongoing sagas. It's the kind that makes even a health update feel like a romantic subplot. Back to normal, but a little wiser. Now that she's back, Kelly is embracing her usual role with even more enthusiasm. She claimed 1,000% better, and if there's anything Kelly does in excess, it's enthusiasm. She bounced into segments, overreacted to funny stories, teased Mark mercilessly, and narrated pop culture headlines as if they were tailies from a Shakespearean comedy. But underneath the humor is a whisper of a lesson. Even the most energetic, unstoppable personalities need to rest. Even the people who make us laugh every morning are human. If anything, Kelly's brief break made fans remember that behind the sparkling outfits, behind the jokes, behind the perfectly timed quips, is someone living a normal, fragile, imperfect life like everyone else. And that's exactly why they love her. Final thought, a healthy reminder. Kelly Ripa's major health update wasn't just about her recovery. It was a reminder of how quickly life can slow us down and how much beauty there is in returning to normal. She came back brighter, wiser, and maybe even a little bit more grateful. As she said near the end of the broadcast, "Here to feeling good. Seriously, it's underrated."